Hello and good evening. You are watching Newsplus right here on Z10 Prime. It is a Friday, the 2nd of May 2025. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Faith Nyaude. A quick look at stories making the headlines tonight. Now, President Mnangagwa has challenged Zimbabweans to introspect and reflect on their individual and collective contributions to the country's development. The president was speaking during the burial of national heroine, retired Air Vice Marshal Winnie Mandanda at the National Heroes Acre. Former Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo, who is part of the panel of eminent African leaders to lead the process of finding a resolution to the conflict in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, met President Mnangagwa today to apprise him on the panel's efforts to bring a lasting solution to the DRC conflict. Stay tuned to Newsplus for details on that meeting. Now, Newsplus has some good news for vintage car junkies. Later in the bulletin, we shall be discussing the latest regulations on vehicle importations into Zimbabwe. And in sport, Dynamo's assistant coach Mark Mate says they are not worried with how things stand for the Glamour Boys, who currently sit in the drop zone. That story and more later on in the bulletin. In our top story this evening, President Emmerson Mnangagwa has encouraged Zimbabweans to contribute to various economic sectors to enhance economic development. He was speaking at the burial of the late retired Air Vice Marshal Winnie Mandanda at the National Heroes Acre earlier today. Our correspondent, Sitachiswe Gwaza, was at the National Shrine.
Our modern-day battlegrounds for progress and development have shifted to various sectors of our economy, including agriculture, mining, tourism, manufacturing, education, and healthcare. This was the message from President Mnangagwa at the burial of the late national heroine, Air Vice Marshal Winnie Mandanda, at the National Heroes Acre today. The president urged citizens to excel in their respective fields and contribute to the country's economic growth.
Our modern-day battlegrounds are now spread across all sectors: in agriculture, in mining, tourism, manufacturing, and in the fields of education and health, as well as the new frontiers of science, innovation, and technology. In all these fronts and manners, Zimbabwe must continue rising and scoring victories.
The president emphasized the importance of dedication, challenging Zimbabweans to self-introspect and assess their contributions to the country's development agenda. He stressed that collective effort and commitment are essential for achieving national goals.
Pauri papo, zvibvunze kuti uri kushandira nyika yokwako here? Hallelujah. Mabasa ako zvibvunze wega kuti ari kusimudzira Zimbabwe here?
Paying tribute to the late Air Vice Marshal Mandanda, President Mnangagwa described her as a dedicated and reliable professional who selflessly served with unwavering commitment and passion.
I can testify that she was a bold, fearless, charismatic, patriotic, and a cadre. Dating back to the days of the liberation struggle, she was unwavering in her commitment and dedication to our country.
Brother to the late heroine Tapiwa Mandanda shared the family's fondest memories.
A woman who walked into history not with arrogance or entitlement, but with purpose and principle. Through decades of struggle, she gave her voice to the voiceless, her strength to the weak, and her wisdom to the generations that will follow. Hers was a life lived not in herself, but for her people.
A final and befitting farewell before
for a national liberation war heroine and an astute leader. Winnie Mandanda today rests with her fellow comrades at the National Shrine in Harare. For ZTM Prime, I am Sitachi Siwegwaza at the Heroes Air Camp.
So who is retired Air Vice Marshal Winnie Mandanda, and what were some of her notable achievements and contributions? Let us quickly take a look at her brief profile. Born on July 14, 1960 in Rusape, Makoni district, and attended Arnoldine Primary School and then Mutendevure Primary School. In 1975, she began her secondary education at Mutambara High School. At just 15, she made a brave decision to leave school and join the fight for Zimbabwe's liberation in Mozambique. She briefly stayed at Junda and Nyazonia camps in Mozambique before going to Tanzania. She then completed basic military training in Nyachingwena, Tanzania, and was deployed in Gaza province until 1978. As Zimbabwe's independence approached, she was selected for a medical course in basic obstetrics, gynecology, nursing, and pediatrics. The late Air Vice Marshal Mandanda was among the few who survived when Chimoyo and Nyazonia camps witnessed the first of the many Rhodesia Forces genocidal massacres of Zimbabwean refugees. After independence, she joined the President's Department, contributing to the 1981 Commission of Inquiry into Missing Persons. She transferred to the Air Force of Zimbabwe in 1984 as a non-commissioned member. Her hard work earned her a commission as an air lieutenant in 1994. She served as adjutant and staff officer at Manyame Base, directing staff at the Zimbabwe Staff College, director civil military relations at Zimbabwe Defense Headquarters, deputy commandant Zimbabwe Staff College, and director general service personnel at Zimbabwe Defense Forces Headquarters. Mandanda received several medals, including the Liberation Medal, Independence Medal, and Mozambique Campaign Medal, among others. Air Vice Marshal Mandanda is survived by a son, Mnyarazi Valentine Mandanda. Now, former Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo believes African countries should take lead in crafting solutions to the continent's challenges, and resolutions to the problems must primarily serve the interests of the African people. He was speaking after meeting President Mnangagwa at the State House in Harare today, where he was briefing him as the SADC chairperson on the ongoing mediation efforts into Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo crisis. The former statesman is one of the 5 facilitators appointed by SADC and the East African community to mediate in the DRC crisis. Some of the leaders spearheading the mediation include former Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta, former South African President Kgalema Motlanthe, former Central African Republic President Catherine Samba-Panza, and former Ethiopian President Sahle-Work Zewde.
How do we report to them? How do we give them what we know, and they give us what they know, so that we can put to rest permanently the conflict in DRC. And I said I went to DRC for the first time on the 5th of October 1960 as a young military officer. The problem that was there in 1950 is still there today. After 65 years, they cannot go on. Our leaders have now decided there must be an end to this. There are outsiders who want to help us, and we say, yes, come. We do not mind you helping us, whether from the east or from the west, from the south or from the north. Come and help us. But please, let's have as many cooks as want to be in this soup that we are making. But there must be a chief chef, and that chief chef must be from our own regional and sub-regional organization.
Now, in other news, Zimbabwe has been singled out as one of the countries with suitable climatic conditions for massive agricultural production around the world. This was said by the Food and Agriculture Organization Director General, Dr. Q Dong-yu, after a meeting with Vice President Dr. Constantino Chiwenga in Italy earlier today. The meeting was held as Zimbabwe continues to ramp up on climate-proof national food security, as well as to foster a vibrant export subsector. On its part, FAO has long identified Zimbabwe as one of the production epicenters from which less productive regions can rely on for their food and nutrition security.
We work together to try to end the hunger and benefit to all the people, starting benefit to the smallholder farmers. Second, also we have to use the tools and networks to speed up the transformation of global agri-food system, especially in Singapore case, in Zimbabwe, sorry. And because you have a lot of potential, your soil, your natural resource, and even rainfall is so good for agri-food systems. And if you have the proper investment and policy, science, innovation, you will make a reality, from the potential to the reality.
Still on food security issues, authorities are collaborating with the International Crops Research Institute for Semi-Arid Tropics, or ICRISAT, to enhance research and development of small grains. This partnership aims to bolster food production in the face of climate change. Andile Chuma has more details.
The recent El Nino-induced drought has highlighted the vulnerability of traditional farming practices. In response, the government, alongside ICRISAT, is intensifying efforts to promote the cultivation of small grains such as sorghum and millet, known for their drought-resistant properties. Speaking at a tour of the Matopo Research Center, ICRISAT Director General Dr. Himanshu Pathak said since 1983, the organization has been working with government in developing climate-resilient varieties and established the research center with the aim of mitigating drought.
On an average, the yield of sorghum in this country is less than 1 ton per hectare. But the varieties and hybrid which we have developed in ICRISAT can give more than 8 tons per hectare yield. So by adopting these particular varieties, the farmers of Zimbabwe can increase their yield by 2 times, 3 times, or even 4 times or so.
Dr. Pathak said water and soil management was important in their work, adding that they were also doing capacity building for local extension officers and community leaders on climate-smart agriculture.
Management of water, soil and nutrient is also extremely important for increasing yield and also improving climate resilience. So here we want to develop technologies of how we can produce more with less amount of water, how we can produce more without applying much of chemical fertilizers.
The drought prompted a shift towards more sustainable agricultural methods. Recognizing the potential of small grains like sorghum and millet, the government and ICRISAT have co-released new hybrid varieties of pearl millet and sorghum specifically crafted for drought tolerance and higher yields in Zimbabwe's drylands. These hybrids not only offer improved productivity but also serve multiple purposes, including food, animal feed, and industrial applications such as brewing. Their introduction aligns with the national policies promoting small grains as a cornerstone for climate adaptation and food security. ICRISAT Deputy Director General in charge of Research and Innovation, Dr. Stanford Blade, said the Matopo Research Center in Matabeleland South Province was critical to the formulation of crop varieties that are suitable for drylands.
These are the crops that do very well within this particular area. We work very closely with our national partners in developing new varieties, new cultivars for smallholder farmers, the kinds of crops that are nutrient dense, that are climate smart, and that actually add to the food security of this region and across southern Africa.
Farmers said they appreciate the support from the government and ICRISAT. Learning about climate-smart practices is helping them sustain their livelihoods despite challenging weather conditions.
Ukulima ama-small grains kuyasinceda kakhulu loba izulu lilulutshwana kodwa okwakho ukuthi udle lemuli yakho awukusweli njalo lakho nokho oyabe ukutholile ezifuyweni uyabe ulakho ukubana uncede izifuyo zakho.
Ibele liyasebenza ukuthi abantu badle. Ibele liyafida inkomo ngamahlanga. Umumbu uyasebenza ukufida abantu. Umumbu uyasebenza ukufida inkomo. Amahlanga ayasebenza njalo ukufida inkomo. Inkomo esizifidileyo ziyenza umquba. Umquba wakhona siphinde siwubisele emasimini ube yikudla emabeleni wona layo sebesiwalimile.
ICRISAT said their collaboration with the government focuses on strengthening its research facilities and providing farmers with quality seeds. This initiative is crucial for ensuring food and nutritional security across the country. The partnership also includes training programs on integrated farming practices, aiming to empower rural communities and promote sustainable agriculture. This joint effort marks a pivotal step towards adapting to climate challenges and securing the nation's food systems.
New regulations for individuals seeking to import older car vehicles into the country. Ibn Mandanda will join us after the break to discuss this latest development. Stay with us.
The Acting Minister of Home Affairs and Cultural Heritage, Honorable Ziyambi, Deputy Minister, Honorable Chido Sanyatwe, the Secretary, Ambassador R.T. Faranisi, management and staff wish to express their condolences to the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, His Excellency, Comrade Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, the Mandela family and the entire nation over the untimely death of Air Vice Marshal retired Winnie Mandela. Air Vice Marshal Winnie Mandela dedicated her entire life to the service of the country, exhibiting commitment and exemplary leadership throughout her distinguished career. We mourn the loss of a heroine whose contribution to the liberation of the country and national security post-independence has left an enduring legacy that will be remembered for generations. As we mourn the passing of this heroine, let us celebrate her legacy and continue to uphold the values she embodied. The ministry remains committed to fulfilling its constitutional mandate of maintaining a safe and secure environment. Ministry of Home Affairs and Cultural Heritage, sustaining a secure and peaceful environment.
It's time for the main event. This is incredible. He has written it, and the dream lives on. I cannot believe it.
Stay connected to DSTV this April and May and get all the football finals you want.
Welcome back. You are still watching Newsplus. Thank you so much for staying with us. Now, are you a vintage car enthusiast and looking to add to your collection of yesteryear classics? Well, there is some good news for you after authorities eased regulation on the importation of older vehicles through Statutory Instrument 45 of 2025. This amendment to the Control of Goods, Import and Export Regulations of 1974 introduces a targeted exemption for vehicles classified as vintage under the Vehicle Registration and Licensing. While the general ban on importing vehicles over 10 years old remains in place, vintage vehicles are now allowed into the country without the need for an import permit from the Ministry of Industry and Commerce. We now speak to Ibn Mandanda, our business correspondent, on this fresh development. Ibn, good evening to you. Now, this is some good news for car enthusiasts. What's the significance of this development?
Well, good evening. This is what I would call an olive branch that's been extended to all vintage vehicle enthusiasts. Perhaps that would be in line with the cultural month that's been declared coming through from the Minister of Sports for the month of May. But by and large, while the ban on vehicles that are older than 10 years remains in place, this is meant to, of course, cultivate that culture and allow that leeway to those vintage vehicle enthusiasts. So it's quite a relaxation, I would call it, and an olive branch that's been extended to vintage vehicle enthusiasts.
Now, even given that if the vehicle import regime remains in place, say for the vintage cars, what's the government's thrust on the vehicles and buses subsector?
The policy guidance that's been communicated coming through from Treasury, particularly in the 2025 national budget, as well as in the activities undertaken by the Minister of Industry and Commerce, is that of trying to revamp and revitalize the country's automobile sector through, of course, a statutory instrument that removed duty on semi-knockdown kits for buses, as well as also on some twin cabs, which is meant to try and revamp the, of course, the subsector where the assembly of vehicles is concerned in this country. For the longest of time, that has not been performing so well. Hence, we have seen about $500 million of the importation of vehicles per annum that is recorded here in Zimbabwe. So these are initiatives that are meant to encourage, of course, assembly of vehicles here in Zimbabwe as Zimbabwe tries to move toward vehicle construction perhaps in the years to come. But for now, the idea from Treasury is to try and revitalize the once vital and the once functional vehicle assembly units that we had in the country.
Well, Ibn Mabunda, our business correspondent, joining us, discussing the green light that vintage car lovers have been given to start adding to their collections. Now, in another development, President Mnangagwa has said geographical indications support rural industrialization, enhance the competitiveness of local enterprises, and open new export pathways for high-value branded products. In a speech read on his behalf by the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Trade, Professor Amon Morura, at the official opening of the Worldwide Symposium on Geographical Indications in Victoria Falls, President Mnangagwa said geographical indications align with the nation's objectives in agricultural transformation, climate resilience, and empowering smallholder farmers, women, and the youth.
The Zimbabwe Geographical Indications Project is emblematic of what we seek to achieve: a bold, forward-looking, yet heritage-anchored approach to sustainable socioeconomic development that leaves no one and no place behind. This project is supporting the identification, promotion, and protection of origin-linked products, beginning with honey in Nyanga in Manicaland Province, Zimbabwe. It is pleasing that our local producers, in collaboration with French counterparts, are engaged in robust capacity building, skills exchange, and knowledge transfer initiatives. This ensures that our local products meet international standards while maintaining local identity and
Still on development issues, the city of Bulawayo has successfully rehabilitated old sewer infrastructure in Shabalala suburb through a partnership with a private contractor. The affected community had been subjected to recurring sewer blockages and bursts for many years, a situation that the city has described as a major health risk for the community. In March, the Bulawayo City Council warned residents of Shabalala suburb not to drink tap water due to suspected contamination from overflowing sewage. The situation sparked outrage among residents who said they have been dealing with sewer problems for far too long. Speaking on site, City of Bulawayo sewer engineer Tsopomoyo said alien materials were damaging to the sewer system and urged residents to be more responsible.
While they were working, they faced a lot of challenges, some which are deliberate, like the throwing in of utensils, as you can see them, a lot of spoons, knives, a lot of stones. Some of the stones are amateur. So these things are deleterious to the sewer network. They are not supposed to be there. No matter how much we do the repairs on the system itself, as long as the system is abused, it won't function properly. So we're pleading to the residents to use the sewer system properly, such that the benefits that are being done by the rehabilitation work by these contractors are realized. So siyacela kuzakhamizi, siyacela ngazo zonke indlela ukuthi asebenziseni kuhle ama-sewer system, singafaki izinto ezingamelanga zibe khona, inhlabathi, amatshe. I-system ifuna amanzi.
Now, in other news, Zimbabwe's Abantu Mobile Clinic has extended its healthcare services to communities like Kuwadzana by launching 3 more mobile clinics. Their aim is to bring health services to people's doorsteps, thereby reducing deaths caused by non-communicable diseases. Kimberly Chibalanga has the details.
Zimbabwe's Abantu Healthcare on Wheels is not only a beacon of hope for the sick and those with first setbacks. Meet Natasha, a teen mom who has benefited from Zimbabwe's Avantu's community engagements.
Katiudza zvinhu zvakandibatsira muupenyu kuti kana waroorwa haufaniri kumira pakuroorwa ipapo ungoti azvandaroorwa upenyu hwangu watogumira ipapo. Unofanira kuenda kumberi neupenyu hwako nekuitawo something muupenyu hwako chinobatika kuti ukwanise kuchengeta mwana iyewa unenge waita uri mwana mudiki. Ndakazvifarira vanangoti this is a good thing muupenyu hwangu ndasingatarisira kuti ndinokwanisa kucontinue something mulife mangu.
Another teen mom, who is an STI survivor, has urged Zimbabwe to continue making a positive impact on their lives.
Handitreata kusvika zvese zvapera kusvika kumwana kuti hapana here chakakanganisika kune mwana. Pandakadaro handiti izvo zvinoitai kumba ndakati hapana. Handiti uyatikudzidzisa zvekucheka vanhu BP, sugar, HIV. Handidzidzisa kusvika ndagona ndakatombopinda mucommunity njiita. Asi vaindibhadharawo zvese kubatsira kuchengeta mwana. Vachindikanselawo kuti upenyu ndozvaunoita, haufanira kugumirawo ipapo uchizvanzi wamitiswa, usafunge zviri kumashure, ita move on nelife yako.
Speaking on behalf of the Minister of Health and Childcare, Dr. Douglas Mombeshora, Dr. Maxwell Hove reiterated the role of inclusive healthcare models. He stated that the mobile clinics are not merely modes of transportation, but are instruments of hope, equity, and dignity.
The ministry has prioritized the decentralization of healthcare, particularly in our ongoing efforts to combat non-communicable diseases and HIV and AIDS. We recognize that marginalized communities often bear the brunt of inadequate access. Through innovative models like this one, we are reaching the unreached and restoring faith in public health.
The CEO of Zimbabwe's Avantu Trust stated that inasmuch as he is happy with the progress they have made of treating over 80,000 people across the country, he is still not satisfied with their failure to offer medicines after diagnosis.
Munoona kuseri Dr. Hoy muchazoona pamunoita to a few of the groups akawanda, but just a few of the groups. Ku Epworth kune vana teen mothers who were unfortunate vataka kwanisa kusosera solar sewing machines kuti vakwanise kuwana mari because tinoya tovatarisa mahara asi mwana akuda mushonga haugone kupiwa anyone for free. So we are capacitating them.
For the residents of Kuwadzana and its surrounding areas, healthcare has been brought to their doorsteps thanks to Zimbabwe's Avantus mobile clinics. By providing health education before treatment, these clinics aim to empower community members how to manage and prevent non-communicable diseases like hypertension and diabetes. The ultimate goal is to save lives. For such TN Prime, I'm Kimberly Chimbalanga in Kuwadzana, Harare.
On Newsplus, we'll be back shortly. Stay with us.
stuck on you. Ooh, obsessed with you, I'm obsessed.
With Showmax, your favorite characters now follow you anywhere. Download it today and watch the best in local, international, and everything in between.
Harare, tune into the beat.
Capitalk 100.4 FM, your source for news, business, sports, fashion, and more.
Experience the pulse of Harare's culture and lifestyle.
Capitalk 100.4 FM, Harare's top radio station.
Join the conversation with Zimbabwe's top personalities.
Subscribe now for fresh and infotainment content daily.
Capital 100.4 FM, Harare's heartbeat.
Welcome back. You are still watching Newsplus. Thank you so much for staying with us. Now, on a look at news from around the world, we start off in South Africa, where the mother of a South African girl who disappeared aged more than a year ago has been convicted of kidnapping and trafficking her daughter. Kelly Smith, her boyfriend Jacquina Paulus, and their friend Stevino Van Ryn were arrested after Smith's daughter, Jocelyn, went missing from outside her home in Saldanha Bay near Cape Town in February last year. Paulus and Ryan were also found guilty of kidnapping and trafficking Jocelyn. All three had previously pleaded not guilty to these charges. Jocelyn's disappearance sent shockwaves across South Africa, and despite a highly publicized search for her, she is yet to be found. Still in South Africa, the think tank T20 Africa High-Level Dialogue took place in Pretoria, the administrative capital of the country, on Tuesday and Wednesday, bringing together policymakers, think tank representatives, academics, and international partners to advance African perspectives within the group of 20, G20, and other international policy bodies. The T20 seeks to ensure that Africa's voice is not only heard, but integrated into the G20's working agenda, serving as a vital platform for shaping the African continent's influence in global governance.
The G20 presidency of South Africa comes amidst the realization that only 17% of the Sustainable Development Goals has been achieved. And it should be worrisome given the fact that we have only 5 years left towards the attainment of the SDGs in 2030. So we should be concerned about that issue. So indeed, any trade package that obviously does not seek to harness the African potential will obviously have a negative consequence on our own economic fortunes. I think South Africa have always subscribed to the fact that you need both your developing South and your more industrialized North for us to, ensure the economic dividends of South Africa and the African continent are able to be harnessed.
In an update on the ongoing situation in Sudan, the United Nations has warned about the catastrophic humanitarian situation in the country and called for an end of the ongoing conflict between the Sudanese Armed Forces, SAF, and the rival Rapid Support Forces, RSF. Addressing a press conference at the UN headquarters in New York City, Stefan Dujarric, spokesperson for UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, says the UN continues to get very disturbing reports from Sudan, especially from North Darfur.
We continue to get very disturbing reports out of that country, and it's mainly in North Darfur State. Our humanitarian colleagues tell us that in the last week alone, the confirmed number of civilians killed in North Darfur was at least 542. The actual death toll is, of course, likely to be much higher, our colleagues warn. Reports of extrajudicial executions in Khartoum state are also extremely disturbing. Our human rights chief, Volker Turk, said he had personally alerted both leaders of the Rapid Support Forces and the Sudanese Armed Forces of the catastrophic human rights consequences of this war. You will have seen a statement he issued this morning in which he said it is well past the time for the conflict to stop.
In Israel, the Fire and Rescue Authority says after more than 30 hours of fighting, it has managed to contain the wildfires that raged on the outskirts of Jerusalem. The Fire and Rescue Services said firefighters will continue their efforts over the coming hours, albeit at a lower intensity than before, to prevent new fires from cropping up. The fires in the Jerusalem hills erupted on Wednesday morning. Fanned by high temperatures and strong winds, the fire spread rapidly through wooded areas, scorching over 20 square kilometers of land. The Fire and Rescue Services said a preliminary assessment indicated that the blazes were likely caused by negligent hikers, not arson. But it is yet to determine what caused the fires, as a further investigation is currently still underway. Now, the fourth round of the Oman-mediated US-Iran talks scheduled for Saturday in Rome has been postponed for logistical reasons. Omani Foreign Minister Saeed Badir bin Hamad Al Busaidi said new dates will be announced upon an agreement among all parties. Iran's Foreign Ministry spokesperson Ismail Baghei has confirmed the postponement, saying that the new round of indirect nuclear talks with the US was postponed at the request of Oman's Foreign Minister. He also said Iran remains committed to reaching a fair and lasting agreement. And our Newsplus gives you some business news.
In a land where traditions run deep, where the soil holds the secrets of generations, and where dreams are sown alongside seeds, a new generation emerges. Welcome to Young Seeds. Get ready to embark on a journey like no other as we shine a spotlight on the dynamic and inspiring young farmers in the heartland of Zimbabwe.
I want to do it because plants will die, plants will get infected by diseases.
I tried to do mixed farming, that is also putting tomatoes. I have half a hectare of tomatoes.
Every 40 days it has to be giving birth.
Produce a good quality fruit size. Calves are kept in different pens, basically so that they don't spread diseases to each other.
My name is Tariwa Sibauke. I'm a rabbit farmer.
These young farmers are revolutionizing traditional practices, embracing technology, and finding sustainable solutions that will shape the future of agriculture. So, let's get our hands dirty.
Welcome back. You are still watching Newsplus. Now, in a look at business news, as Zimbabwe continues to deepen its global trade partnerships, attention is turning to the United Arab Emirates, a fast-growing market offering new economic opportunities. The Dubai-based Zimbabwean Business Council and ZB Financial Holdings are in partnership to improve bilateral trade between the two countries. Our business reporter, Melissa Chatkobo, gives us the details.
As of March 2025, the United Arab Emirates has become Zimbabwe's largest export destination, accounting for 40.7% of total exports. Zimbabwe's top exports to the UAE include semi-manufactured gold, a commodity in high demand across Gulf markets. With trade relations deepening, business consultants say there's growing opportunity for small to medium enterprises to tap into this market.
The volumes of one SME is not sufficient to meet any orders. So the idea is to bring together the productions of various SMEs and then they export as a group under one brand as well.
Policy support and private sector alliances have been pivotal. Trade facilitation institutions and financial service providers are now working to lower export risks. helping Zimbabwean companies navigate UAE regulations and connect with distributors, investors, and regional business councils.
Zimbabwean businesses that have tried to access the UAE market, with some of them having had experiences in the past that were not quite pleasant. I think our relationship with the Dubai Chamber provides a basis upon which any local exporters or anyone who's seeking to invest or to get investment from the UAE can actually go through the chambers.
Bilateral trade extends beyond goods. It encompasses services, knowledge exchange, and long-term investment flows. Strategic engagement with the UAE could significantly boost foreign currency earnings for Zimbabwe.
The first question I asked him, can you handle private jets? He says, yes, we can. I said, okay, we'll do the introduction, because that's the first question that guy's going to ask. And I hope I answered that question. Yes. On the matter regarding the youth and supporting the youth, I don't know if you got the first clips of the presentation, but Expand North Star is what we're talking about. Young startup, 1,800 companies. All startup are in Dubai, next to 1,200 proven investors with assets under management of investment under management of $1 trillion US. The whole digital chamber's mandate is to support the technology and the startup, fintech technology startup of the young entrepreneurs.
However, access to long-term financing remains a major challenge. ZB Financial Holdings says its focus is shifting, identifying UAE trade as a viable path for Zimbabwean exporters and tailor-making finance solutions to support trade on both ends.
So us having a presence in the UAE is going to create access to funding. So we'll become the bridging gap in terms of FDI. One of the topics we talked about was in FDI flowing through Zimbabwe. So as a financial institution, we then become that market link.
As Zimbabwe aims to expand its export base and narrow trade imbalances, enhanced access to markets like the UAE is key. With the right structures in place, dialogue could lead to deals and partnerships can pave the way for sustainable trade. Reporting for ZTM Prime, I am Melissa Chetkubo in Harare.
Still in business, African Sun Limited, Zimbabwe's top hotel group, has posted a 15% jump in revenue for the year ending 31 December 2024, bringing in nearly 54 million United States dollars. Board Chair Lloyd Mishi said the growth was driven by higher occupancy and a 3% increase in average daily rates, which rose to $119. He added that the strong performance was also supported by major refurbishments across the group's properties, modernizing rooms, public areas, and leisure facilities to meet global standards. With 11 hotels and resorts in its portfolio, African Sun says it is well positioned for continued growth in Zimbabwe's tourism sector. Economist Blessing Nyatanga said continuing operations revenue was further bolstered by the real estate segment's contribution of $3.02 million, primarily driven by residential stand sales.
African Sun's 15% revenue growth in 2024 can be attributed to various factors, including increased leisure and leisure travel, rising international tourism, and higher profits due to demand recovery. The 3% increase in average daily rates, or the ADR, to $119 suggests a strategic approach to pricing, which perhaps has been potentially driven by growing demand and industry trends. Then, as far as key industry trends are concerned, I'm going to talk about three main aspects. That is global hospitality market growth, hotel industry performance, as well as the average daily rate. So with regards to global hospitality market growth, the global hospitality market expanded to approximately 4.9 trillion in 2024. And this was actually driven by leisure and leisure travel, international rising tourism, as well as higher profits.
The horticulture sector continues its upward trajectory, with macadamia nuts leading the charge and recording an impressive 77% increase in export receipts, signaling a robust recovery and rebound. The economic importance and demand for macadamia nuts on the world market are on the rise, driven by growing consumer awareness of their health benefits and increasing demand for plant-based diets. The global macadamia market size was valued at $1.58 billion in 2022 and is anticipated to expand at a compound annual growth rate of 9.3% from 2023 up until 2030. Now, Zimbabwe's exports increased by 13.5% in March to $581.9 million, demonstrating the country's economic resilience against domestic and external headwinds, improved productivity, and evolving trade dynamics. The growth also reflects the positive impact of sectoral reforms, the positive effect of the government's export promotion initiatives, and robust mineral output. Zimstat said that March 2025 exports amounted to $581.9 million, an increase of 13.5%, equaling $69.3 million from the February 2025 value of $512.6 million. Now we take a look at some entertainment news.
In a world where music transcends boundaries, where rhythm and melody unite the hearts of people, comes a show that celebrates the power of music like never before. Get ready to dive into a sonic journey that will leave you mesmerized and yearning for more. Welcome to the captivating world of Z Vibes. Vibe to it, baby.
Now, in a look at entertainment news, musician Chillmaster has been ordered to perform 420 hours of community service in the culpable homicide charge that he was facing. He will perform the unpaid work at Stonebridge Primary School. But a magistrate at Tenda Mukurunge also fined the entertainer $200 for driving without a license. Chillmaster, real name Kudakwashe Gumbarume, was involved in a road traffic accident and killed a pedestrian. Now, tomorrow, Old Hararian Sports Club will come to life with the launch of their highly anticipated album, Mdini Mukudze by Ja Praiser. The excitement leading up to the album release has been intense, with tickets selling out weeks in advance. Today, he released visuals for another song from the album titled Evo, which has already sparked a social media frenzy since the snippet was shared a few weeks ago.
Evo. Ukandipuruzira mzana bamwe bazondo kumanda ngoerekana ndatenga wiki ndatenga nzwara Ivo ukandipuruzira mzoro bamwe bazondo kumanda ngoerekana.
Now, preparations are well underway for Zimbabwe's premier horse racing event, the Castle Tankard, which this year celebrates its Blue Sapphire edition, marking 65 years. The prestigious Creme de la Creme Grade 1 race will take place on Saturday, the 10th of May 2025 at the Bordeaux Racecourse in Harare. Now, beyond the races, the day will offer fans a lively mix of entertainment with electrifying performances by Alec Macheso, Enzo Ashel, Delroy Shewe, Nisha T, Oriano, and the Chill Spot family. Now, what are you doing this weekend? Let us take a look at what is to expect from the entertainment scene. Sungura ace Alec Macheso will perform at the Palace Hotel in Bulawayo tonight. He will be backed by Bulawayo-based Sungura outfit in Simbi Zwane. After this double, Macheso proceeds to Bagomba Cafe in Beitbridge for another date with Jam Master tomorrow. Macheso hardly disappoints in Beitbridge, where he is known for pulling large crowds. Bira Princess Sasha Amaduve Lushongwa will cater for Bira lovers in Harare with a must-attend gig tonight at the Grub restaurant in Eastleigh, Harare. Mentored by the late Mbira legend Biamaduwe of the Ndega Dega fame, Sasha will be out to usher merrymakers into a bright weekend on song and dance. A passionate performer she is, Sasha is renowned for her well-choreographed acts. Reggae exponent Emmanuel Manix Motsi will be in action at the Grub restaurant this Saturday ahead of the Bob Marley commemorations. Marley died on the 11th of May 1981, aged 36. Formerly with Bootkin Clan outfit, the Warren Park Bread Chanter has promised to usher out all his artistic verve as he meets both loyal and new fans at this event.
There are so many doors closed and Papa don't have the money. There are some days with nothing to eat, children crying, not funny. No, I work day and night, it's not enough for my family.
Dendera musician Sulumani Chimbetu, who enjoys rave views with his 8th album, Tapo, will be in action tonight at Plot Clon Moran in Kadoma along Sanyati Road. In Chinese numerology, the number 8 is considered very lucky, linked to wealth and good fortune. Could this be the case with Sulumani, who has struck the right chords on this album? After the Kadoma affair, Sulumani will hold his second show at Sherwood Golf Club in Marlborough in Harare on Saturday. It's a special show for the crooner who will be performing in his own backyard. From entertainment, we give you some sporting action. Now, Dynamo's assistant coach, Mark Mate, says they are not worried with how things stand for the Glamour Boys, who currently sit in the drop zone. Despite finding themselves in unfamiliar territory, the coaches are not pressing panic buttons as of yet, as they believe the club has the other aspects required to win matches.
If we were playing games and we had poor ball retention, if we were playing games and we're not competitive, if we're playing games and we're conceding 3-4 goals in a game, if we were playing games and did not create the high ratio of chances that we create, yeah, we'd push panic buttons and be really, really worried. But with what I say, it is broad. All the other aspects that give you the potential to win a game, we have them at Dynamo Football Club. And I'm saying it's not far, it's now sooner. We'll strike the right chord and do put away chances and win games.
Up next for Dynamos is a home clash against Scotland this Sunday, and Mate is hopeful for a positive result as he believes that his players have been showing a different side as they prepare for the encounter.
Look, we treat football games the same way. We knew that come week 10 when we got the fixture program that we'll be playing Scotland, and here we are going to face them. We're going to prepare the normal way we prepare, like we're preparing versus Bikita or Triangle or any other team in the Premier Soccer League, because we've come to realize that this year 2025 the games are really, very, very, very tough. So we're preparing well, and we're hopeful that we'll get a positive result versus Scotland on Sunday. It's not going to be easy, but we can see the chemistry within the boys. There is a self-belief now. They know what it means to play for Dynamos and the expectations. So yeah, we're looking forward to a positive result on Sunday.
Now, after recording their second draw away from home, Manica Diamonds are optimistic that they are back on track. For the side, a sudden shift in momentum in recent games seems to have been the confidence booster that they were looking for in their quest for their shine after a slow start to the season. We get more in the following report.
Manica Diamonds captain Farai Banda is delighted with the progress that the side has made so far, after having collected 13 points in the 9 games that they have played, and find themselves within touching distance of the teams at the summit.
So captain matangira taita yatenga zvakanaka despite among my season atimbo tanga chichiwa chita silver this time tatanga nekutowina chatozombotidzoswa mashure ndo tiri madrow ataita on a roll, but zvinhu zvekutozvigadzirisa bit by bit plus nemanew players, but nekubuda kwazvakuita izvezvi ndikutarisira kuti zvinhu zvedu zvinodzoka championship atakatarisira netarget yatakazvipa neibata. The good part ndeyekuti tirigoesa zvisingazomboitwa mumasizini kugoesa taitoziva kuti kunonesa, but now titori team yekuti first half totoziva kuti tinogoesa 1 or 2 goals, but maybe second half ndo part yatinoita work on, either kuti toita clean sheets or maybe totowedzera magoals.
The Jamboys captain gave credit to some of the senior players in the side, as he believes that they've played a huge role in making sure that things sail smoothly.
Ndototi zvato easy because taane a lot of senior guys unonga uchipusha wapfana wedu, just sometimes ngowa reminder matargets edu, and zvine zviri easy kwatiri juu kuti nyaya yekuti tinoita nemore energy, saka maybe basa redu sirawanda rekungotaura chete kuti ma-instruction ma-tactics maybe izvozvo chete, but nekufamba kwenguva vari kuresponda zvinodadisa.
Having collected 11 of a possible 15 points at Sakubva and failing to win on the road so far in 4 outings, Banda gave credit to the fans who have never lost hope in the side.
I think individually, munhu wese ukatoona masapoti tore dofadzawo nawo, saka vanhu vandovafadza hawo ndinofanira kutamba zvakanaka, saka ukatraya kudofadzawo neyo ubva utamba zvakanaka, definitely kuteam zvinotocontribute ndo zvinozoita kuti win game. Apa mafans edu mashoko awo ndinamba, but tinoda kuvatenda nekutera kubva kwaMutare, Harare, whether taindobulawa even last year tatoona vamwe kuhange, saka tongokurudzira kuti dai maramba muchingomira nesu, and definitely ovya zvinhu zvedu zvatinenge takatarisirawo zvinozobuda. Few vachona iwo wedu isusu vanototimotivata kuti titosimudzawo.
Up next for Manika Diamonds is a home clash against Kwekwe United at Sakubva, a matchup that requires nothing but the best from the Jamboys.
Now in rugby, senior rugby national team will play their first test match of the year when they host Zambia in a battle of the Zambezi at Harare Sports Club on Monday. The Sables are the reigning African champions but have inactive since their tour of UAE and South Korea at the end of last year. Sables coach Piet Bernard will be relying on mostly local-based players for their test against Zambia and is confident that they can get the job done.
I think a lovely thing is I think there's 11 boys playing in the test match who were present in Uganda. So there's a couple of Africa Cup winners here who need to take responsibility, and then they need to support and make things a bit easier for the boys that are coming in. They're our neighbors. We are separated by a body of water. They're a competitive rugby nation. They certainly should be coming to compete and to win. We saw last year that we had a narrow win at Prince Edward, and then we snuck a win in Lusaka. So certainly from their side there shouldn't be a lack of belief. It will be up to us to sort of assert our dominance if there is any, and but we're hoping for a good performance. Last year I think we just wanted to activate the Sables brand again. I think that's been done. We've got the Africa Cup and then obviously the tour too.
Zimbabwe Taekwondoin Tatenda Bero says he is ready to raise the country's flag high as he takes part in this year's edition of the 2025 President's Cup Africa in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, which gets underway this weekend. The 3-day tournament is set to bring together junior and senior athletes from across Africa for an exceptional competition, and Bero believes that he has done all that is required to suit the standards.
I've been trying my best to not in the international stage. This is the biggest competition in Africa for this year. Saka training, I've been training so hard. Getting more confidence due to my previous competition.
And that's all we had for you on Newsplus this Friday evening. Thank you so much for joining us. We leave you with the weather forecast. Good evening and enjoy the rest of your weekend.